Hello, I am Tam. My life has been full of trials and storms, but in the end, kindness prevailed and justice was served. Once upon a time, I was a beautiful and gentle girl. My mother passed away early, and my father remarried a woman who turned out to be wicked. Not long after, my father also passed, leaving me to live alone with my cruel stepmother and her daughter, Cam. They treated me harshly, forcing me to do all the heavy chores in the house, including tending buffaloes. Meanwhile, Cam, spoiled by her mother, did nothing but eat and play all day. One day, the stepmother called both of us and told us to go to the river to catch fish and shrimp. She said whoever caught more would be rewarded, while the lazy one would be beaten. I listened and worked diligently, not daring to rest, while Cam, being lazy and pampered, spent the day chasing butterflies and picking flowers before falling asleep. By evening, my basket was full of fish. When I told Cam it was time to go home, she panicked, seeing her empty basket, and plotted to steal mine. She tricked me, saying my hair was full of mud and looked ugly, so I should go wash it. I believed her and left my basket to go rinse my hair. While I was in the water, she poured all my fish into her own basket and ran home ahead of me. When I returned and saw my basket empty, I cried bitterly, fearing the beating awaiting me. Just then, a kind old man appeared. It was the Buddha, but he asked why I cried and if there was any fish left in the basket. I found a tiny goby fish still inside. The old man smiled and told me to take it home and release it into the well, teaching me a magical chant to summon it for feeding. Little goby, come eat the golden rice and silver rice of mine. Don't eat the stale rice and old porridge of others. He promised the fish would help me later. I followed his instructions, feeding it every day with love and care. But my stepmother and Cam grew suspicious and sent Cam to spy on me. Learning the secret, they waited until I went to the mountains to graze the buffalo and then caught the goby and cooked it. When I returned and called for the goby, it never appeared. I saw only blood floating in the water. I wept. The Buddha appeared once more and told me to collect the goby's bones, place them in a jar, and bury it under my bed, as I would need it someday. I searched but found nothing, until a rooster flew in and said, "Cluck, cluck, give me some grain, I'll scratch out the bones for you." I gave it grain, and the rooster dug out the bones from the ashes. I did as but instructed and buried them under my bed. Some time later, there was a grand festival in town. To prevent me from going, my stepmother mixed rice with mung beans and told me, "If you want to go to the festival, separate all of these into 2 piles. I cried as I watched her and Cam leave. Hearing my sobs, but appeared again, told me to spread the rice mixture on the yard, and called sparrows to help. "Sparrows, please come help me." A flock descended and swiftly separated the grains. Once done, but instructed me to dig up the jar of fish bones. To my amazement, inside were a beautiful dress, delicate velvet shoes, and a tiny horse figurine. As I held the dress, the little horse grew into a majestic white steed with shimmering saddle and reins. I bathed, dressed, and mounted the horse, who sped like the wind toward the festival. While crossing a stream, one of my shoes slipped off into the water. I kept the other safely wrapped in cloth and continued to the festival. Just then, the king's procession arrived. His elephant refused to move. The king asked, "What is strange around here?" His men searched and found the small velvet shoe in the stream. The king admired its dainty shape and declared, "Whosoever fits the shoe shall become my queen." Women from far and wide tried it on, including Cam, but none fit. When it was my turn, the shoe fit perfectly, and I pulled out the matching one from my scarf. The crowd cheered. I was escorted to the palace and crowned queen, to the shock and envy of my stepmother and Cam. Though I lived in luxury, I never forgot my father's memorial day and asked the king to let me return home. My stepmother, jealous of my glory, plotted with Cam to replace me. She feigned kindness and asked me to climb the betel tree to pick fruit for the ceremony. As I reached the top, she chopped the tree down, and I fell into the pond and died. She then dressed Cam in my clothes and presented her to the king, claiming I had drowned. The king, though sorrowful, accepted Cam. But one day while she was drying the king's clothes, a Vangon bird came and sang. Drying my husband's robe, not on the fence or the pole. Don't dry it on the thorny hedge, it'll tear my husband's robe. The king, hearing the bird, called out. Vangon, Vangon, are you my beloved wife? Come into my sleeve. The bird flew straight into his sleeve and became his constant companion. Cam, enraged, reported to her mother. Her mother advised her to kill the bird and throw its feathers behind the palace. Where the feathers fell, a soapberry tree grew. When the king passed by, it bent down to shade him. Cam had it cut down, turned into a loom, and burned. The ashes were scattered outside the city, where a golden apple, tea fruit, tree sprouted. It bore only one glowing fruit. One day, an old woman selling tea found the fruit and muttered. Dear tea fruit, fall into my bag, I'll smell you, not eat you. The fruit fell in. She took it home, treasured it, and placed it in her room. Every day when she returned from selling tea, her house was cleaned and meals were ready. Curious, she pretended to leave and spied. From the fruit emerged a tiny girl who grew into me. I tidied up and cooked. The old woman rushed in and hugged me tightly. I've got you now, my dear child. Please stay and be my daughter. From that day, we lived peacefully together. I helped her with housework and prepared betel for her to sell. The king, still grieving, often went wandering. One day, passing her stall, he stopped for tea. The old woman served him betel. As soon as he saw it, he asked. Who made this betel? It's shaped just like my wife used to make. The old lady said. My daughter did, Your Majesty. He demanded to see her immediately. When I came out, the king cried. It's her. My beloved Tam. He embraced me, listened to the whole story, and brought me back to the palace. Seeing me return more beautiful than ever, Cam was terrified. Trying to win my favor, she asked. Sister Tam, how did your skin become so fair? Please tell me your secret. I smiled gently and replied playfully. Oh, I bathed in boiling water. Cam believed me, boiled a tub of water to bathe in, and met her end. Because Cam had been arrogant and cruel, people in the palace despised her. They decided to make her into fish sauce and send it to her mother, claiming it was a gift from Cam. The old woman ate it every day, praising. Delicious. My daughter made this so well. A crow flew down and cried. Yummy, yummy, Mom eats her own daughter. Can I have some? Horrified, the stepmother looked into the jar, recognized her daughter's head, and dropped dead, a just end for a wicked, greedy heart.